Yeah, one way, that's right. I was having one. Jeff, I'll sit up finance real quick. Sit down on finance real quick. All right, it's August 21st, 2023, 7:45 or 5:45 p.m. We're gonna call the finance committee meeting to order. Present are council members Lang, Chu, Barker, Marmy, and Rath sitting in for Hauser. First item, the unappropriated balance is $1,286,049. The cash balance of the budget stabilization is at $1,520,330. First item on the agenda is a request for appropriation in the amount of $40,000.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As you know, we've had a lead line replacement program going on, which has caused us to use a lot of our meters we had in stock. We'd like to purchase 600 3/4-inch water meters for lead line replacement projects, and that money would come out of the COVID funds.
Second. Motion by Lang, second was by Barker.
I'll project more now, I'm a little farther away.
You're fine. Any questions and or discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor of sending this on the full council signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, same sign. That motion passes 5-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And with that, this finance committee meeting stands. Yeah. This finance committee meeting stands adjourned. Next up is service. Sorry.
I feel that way. You're trying to chill you guys down. I do have not yet.
All right, we'll call the service committee meeting to order. Those present, myself, Brad, Neely, Barker, Blind, and Shute. Up first, consider resolution 23-74. A resolution authorizing and directing the director of public service to accept bids and sell certain surplus personal property now owned by the city of Newark, Ohio, declaring that such property is no longer needed for any municipal purpose and declaring an emergency.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. As always, we would like to have a municipal auction where we get rid of these surplus items from the impound lot, anything else we have around the city. This year's auction will be held on October 7th. The reason the emergency clause is on there is for advertising purposes to meet the appropriate deadlines.
Second.
Motion by Parker. Second by Blind. Questions, comments from the committee? Questions, comments from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. And that motion will pass 5-0. That's resolution 23-76. A resolution authorizing the conveyance of certain real property now owned by the city of Newark, Ohio, to Newark Development Partners as its agent for industrial, commercial, distribution, and research.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The city owns a piece of property at 18 West St. Clair Street. It adjoins another piece of property Newark Development Partners has. By sending this over them, we can combine the lots and hopefully work on similar development for that site and area.
Sounds good. Any questions from the committee?
Second.
Motion by Parker, second by Blind. Questions from the audience? Seeing none, all those in favor, saying this on the council, signify by saying aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. That passes 5-0. Up next, resolution 23-77, a resolution authorizing and directing the Director of Public Service of the city of Newark, Ohio, to advertise for bids and enter into the contract for the off-site disposal and beneficial use of lime sludge from Newark's water treatment plant.
Those you don't know, lime sludge is created. We put lime in the water to soften it. When the lime has done its job, it goes out some pipes, goes into a pit. Water renders down, we end up with sludge. We have to pay to haul it away. You have to take it to farmers. That's what the law says. And this is a 3-year contract that would start beginning of January. So we'd like to put it out. Good.
Second.
Motion by Barker. Seconded by Blind. Questions from committee? Questions from the audience? All those in favor of sending this on to council, signify by saying aye. All opposed, same sign. That motion will carry forward with a vote of 5-0.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, sir. That includes finance. I'm sorry.
The only other comment to make to the new council members, if you want to come down to the auction, it's open to the public. It moves fast and quick, and we're very organized out there. It's down held down service complex. More welcome to come down.
We get a discount.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can make sure you get a number so you can bid and be happy to collect your money.
All right, with that, the service committee will stay adjourned. That's will be personnel committee. Thank you, Mr. Rhodes.
Thank you.
Okay, I'd like to call this personnel committee to order. Those present are myself, Lang, Shute, Dudas, Barker, and Ryan. We've got one piece of legislation on the agenda and then another item at the discretion of the chair that we'd like to add. First up, we've got ordinance 23-40A, an ordinance setting compensation and stating policy with respect to certain appointed positions in the city of Newark, Ohio, and repealing all ordinances and resolutions in conflict with and declaring an emergency.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. Hoping today find you and the committee members well. This is a revision, Mr. Chair, of previously introduced legislation. We listened to the council's concerns. We have eliminated one parity adjustment and captured one additional asset. Chief Deputy Clerk, of course, I omitted in the first legislation. Certainly urge your support.
Thank you, Director Spurgeon. So we, at Finance Committee last meeting, we amended 23-40 to replace the 23-40A, and we added the deputy clerk as Director Spurgeon had mentioned. Any discussion or any thoughts from anyone on the committee or the audience? So I know Director Spurgeon, as we look through this, so we've got 7s and 4s essentially. It's 7, 4, 4, 4 for all of those positions. Is that right? We have maybe one group that.
There was one exception. You're correct, Mr. Chair. 7, 4, 4, and 4, which is parallel with the compensation philosophy that I've espoused from the beginning. And there are one classification or one group that has a modest parity adjustment.
I would love to hear from any of the elected officials who appoint these. I don't know if the mayor has an opinion on this legislation, or our law director, if you want to speak to your people, would love to hear. Oh, sorry, yeah, Mr. Barker.
Thank you. The parity, sorry. Director Spurgeon, before you leave the podium,
Yes.
that parity adjustment, the amount of that adjustment is what?
9.21.
9.21.
So instead of
Just the total.
7 in the first year for the law directors, assistant law directors, it's 9.2 instead of 7, right? So, so it's an additional 2.2% for those positions.
Okay, thank you.
Hi, good evening. I did ask for an additional bump for my people, and the reason is, you know, we are part of the safety forces, and I don't want us to be forgotten in all of this. Work is getting more voluminous, and I don't think it's going to slow down at any point. I also have two members of my staff that are, one could retire at any point, and one has been in service probably 23 to 25 years. So from our last experience of hiring an assistant law director, I don't feel that the base that we were offering to the public was competitive. I mean, we have to remember that these are doctorate degree holders, as well as they have to have passed the bar to even have our job. So we did not get a lot of interest in the job, and we didn't get a lot of interest from people that we could afford. We were lucky to get one candidate, Bobby Yeager, who we hired, and she's doing really well. So we were lucky in that aspect. But as I look to the future, I just want to make our office competitive. I want to attract good people to the city because it is not an easy job what we do. And that's why I asked for just a little bit of a bump for my assistants.
Quick question.
Yes.
So I know, folks mentioned from time to time that these folks do get money from, representing other municipalities. Can you speak to like roughly where that is for these folks, or do you have an average?
It's all different. So we do get contracts. We do contracts with Granville, with Reynoldsburg, with we do get money from the county, and we also get money from Hebron to prosecute those cases. And of course, that means more work for my staff. So we do get paid for that. Our average salary with that compensation is right around 93. But one thing I always keep in mind with those contracts is that they can be taken away at any moment. So really the only thing that I can rely on from year to year is that base salary from the city.
So when you're hiring people, that's not necessarily part of the calculus for that.
Right,
Because it's not.
because obviously
guaranteed.
we also want to see, do they work out? Are they efficient? What they do? Are they good at what they do? Because, we have a really good retention in my office. I mean, we have attorneys. I've been there for, it'll be 20 years next year. We have Amy Davison, who has been there since 2006. My team, who has 30 years of experience. So we have a really good group of people, and I want to replace them with light people that we have to attract.
Any other questions or comments for Law Director Moore? Questions from the audience? I don't know if Auditor Bob, if you'd like to speak to your staff. Great.
Thank you, members, and I appreciate you considering this. I just have obviously one position here. As you know, the auditor's office is at the end of the day responsible for all the finances for the city. So my name attached to it, and this deputy auditor position, I think, is more in line with what a deputy finance director should make, although it's still below what he really should make. I have 5.5 employees. Keep in mind, a few of those employees are part of the bargaining unit, okay? And Jackie, she's not there. We have to have another backup who can fill in payroll, doing POs, who's not working out of class. So it's very important for consistency. Anything happens down the road, this is I believe my office is, it's very important. We need to keep good people in there. We need to make this an attractive position. So I would 100% ask for your support, and I certainly appreciate you all this. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I am supportive of this wage scale for 4 directors for the next 4 years. As I think you would know, on Monday night, of course, we operate a little different than I think prior administrations, but while we have an enormous amount of communication before Monday nights, it's Monday nights when the directors, I have them come here and engage in most of the legislation because I think it's good bonding with council and they're right out there. But as you know, most everything goes on in this community runs through probably one of those 4 directors. And while certainly our auditor works hard with Jim, we're constantly working beside him. So we're working with everyone or beside him. But Newark's taken on quite a different demeanor, I'd say, in the last few years. And we look at that looking forward to with the growth in Lincoln County and the hard work that all the directors do allow me to go over to the Morpsey meetings and talk to special groups and do a lot of things that we're doing in preparation of that growth that's coming. Anyways, I do believe growth is going to happen in the short term in Newark and Heath and maybe a little bit of Johnstown because of the infrastructure. So we're there trying to be ready, what happens tomorrow, but we still have to ship the float and still have everything to keep running every day. So there's a lot going on out there. And I appreciate everything all the directors do and the hard work they put in. So I would say to keep up with the wage increases that have extended the rest of the staff out there and the hard workers in the city. Let's support this. Any questions? Mary Lou?
Yeah, any questions? Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And Auditor Bubba and Director Moore, I appreciate all of you sharing your thoughts on it. It's very helpful. I guess I would say, from my perspective, I'm in support of sending this on. I don't know if anybody wants to make a motion, but that'd be my thought. I think, the 7s and 4s seem to align with our union contracts. I do think, being an attorney in the private sector, even where we're gonna end up with these folks in Director Moore's office, we're still gonna be way behind what you get in the private sector, which is okay. You're not supposed to get the same in the public sector, but I think to be able to bring good talent in, I do think a little bit more is warranted there. So any other discussion or thoughts from the committee?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Mr. Barker.
I'll second.
The motion by Barker. Second by Shute. Mr. Spurgeon, I did have one other question for you. So these raises all would go into effect January 1, right?
That is correct.
Okay, do we need the emergency clause on this? Because my preference would be to remove it unless absolutely necessary.
I would defer to our Director of Law.
Yeah,
I have no problem with you.
okay.
We have time.
So I'll make a motion to amend to remove the emergency clause.
Second.
Any discussion on that amendment? Okay, all those in favor of amending this to remove the emergency clause signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, so that passes 5-0. And then we have a motion on the floor now to pass, I guess it'll be, however we rename it, the amended 23-40A, removing the emergency clause. Any further discussion on this legislation? Okay, with that, I'll take a vote to send this on to full council. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Okay, so that will pass 5-0.
Thank you,
Sending
Mr.
it on to
Chair.
full council. Okay, so with that, next up on the agenda, we had a request to discuss the ASME contract. And we'll need to go into executive session. So I will offer a motion. Tricia, help me out here.
Yes.
Motion to go to executive session for the purpose of discussing a personnel matter relative to union contracts. Would like to keep all the administration and council. Anybody else we need to include? Oh, and our outside counsel, of course.
Yes, and the department heads would like to stay.
Yeah, department heads as well.
Chief and DC.
So I've got a motion there. Second by Barker. So we'll need to do a roll call vote to go into executive session. Lang, yes. Lashute,
Yes.
Labutus, yes. Barker,
Yes.
Ryan.
Yes.
Okay, with that, we will be going in executive session. So we'll need to clear the room for a little bit here and there.